In this video, we're going to compute B sub 0 and B sub 1 values. The example we are looking at is the pizza parlor example. And we have a random sample of 10 campuses. Each campus we have the student population in thousands and quarterly sales in thousands of dollars. We want to predict the value of sales based on the population. So what needs to be predicted is your dependent variable y, so that is quarterly sales, $1,000, and the independent variable is the size of the student population. And that is also in thousands. Before we compute B sub 0 and B sub 1, let's do a scatter plot. A scatter plot is one where we plot the dependent variable on the y-axis and the independent variable on the x-axis. So when we have the x-axis value in the first column and adjacent to it to the right the y values, then we can highlight the two columns like this and then insert scatter plot on the first one. This will generate the scatter plot, and of course we have to format this, get rid of the legend and give proper titles for the graph and the x and y axis. Now we'll move the scatter plot over here. When we look at the scatter plot, we can see that there is a strong relationship between size of student population and quarterly sales. As the size of the population increases, the quarterly sales also increases. The relationship is not perfect, but it is very strong. Now we can compute B sub 0 and B sub 1 using the Excel function intercept for intercept. And the function requires y range first and then the x range. That's the y range. Here is the x range. Here is the function that gives us intercept. Slope, the function Excel function for slope is slope, and again y range first and then the x range. So this gives us the estimated regression line or fitted line, y-intercept plus slope times x. Let us now try to interpret the slope. In regression, normally there is no interpretation for the intercept. And the definition of slope is per unit increase in the x value, how much does y increase? So slope is about how much y will increase. So the slope coefficient is in the same unit as the y-axis or the response variable, which is sales in 1,000. So if x goes up by 1, so let's first try to type a definition and then we will interpret. If x goes up by 1, y will increase by 5. So that's what the slope means. So x going up by 1 is same as if the student population increases by 1,000, then quarterly sales will increase by, okay, this is again in thousands, so we can say by $5,000. So this is how you will interpret the slope coefficient. We can generate B sub 0 and B sub 1 values using data analysis also. So let me demonstrate that now. Go to data, data analysis, look for regression. So here is regression. Now we have to indicate the y range and the x range, and here since we can check for labels, we can include the label in the column. So that's our y range, this is our x range. Check label, and let's put the output right here. Now it generates three different sets of output. Right now we need the output from the third table only. We will look at the other tables later on. Right now let's just format the numbers. Okay, format the labels also. Let's wrap the titles here and right align. And the significance of f, that is the p-value, we'll come to that later. So right now the coefficients are here, b sub 0 and b sub 1. So our estimated line is b sub 0 of 60 plus b sub 1 of 5x.